Today's video sponsor is Miner Summit 2021, a Bitcoin-focused and tech industry roundtable conference created to nurture industry growth and networking. This event will be held on June 15th and 16th in the Lake of the Ozarks at the Four Seasons Lodge. Vendors and exhibitors present include BBT, Bitmain, Slushpool, DMG, Basic Jungle, Power Priority, Compute North, and Riot Blockchain, and many more. Tickets are available for this event still. You can use the promo code BBTMS2021 at checkout to save 15%. Hey guys, welcome back. Carter, Bits be tripping. This is your weekend update plus 1 day. Yesterday was quite the day with a pretty large drawback down. And looking at all the indicators, as I go through the industry and I start looking through what could be the causes of this. Is this Elon doing some craziness again? Is this, regulatory stuff? Is this China ban stuff? What is this? Don't take it for your first signal that you get. Do some research, figure out what else is going on. There's a lot of different indicators out there. So I want to first shout out Caitlin Long. She put a very good tweet storm out on May 20th. We'll kind of throw this up on the screen here. But bottom line, I'll have to agree with her on this one. It is clear the U.S. regulatory crackdown is starting. This is actually, in my opinion, a good thing because when you talk institutional investors, you talk big capital coming into this space, which make investments into utility tokens, things that are going to try to drive and push the needle on actual utility of we can get a better value proposition on some of these tokens. For that capital to flow in, there needs to be regulation in certain aspects for it. It does not take away from some of the decentralized activities that are going on. Those are still going to be playing benefit. That is part of the advantage of being cryptocurrency and being borderless. However, if you are working with the currency, certain currencies within the borders of the US, you are going to be regulated if it's on centralized exchanges in some way. This is a pure picture of that happening right now before our eyes. If we look through chronological order, since last week, so this is really pulling in almost a 2-week kind of week recap, but let's get right into it. Fed released payment system access guidelines on 5/5. SEC warns about Bitcoin futures on 5/11. Binance IRS DOJ story in Bloomberg at the 5/13, and there was some response from CZ on Twitter on this saying that he confirmed it. If there's US folks accessing the platform through VPNs, which I have no doubt quite a few of you guys are out there doing that, especially some of the DJing crew. And then you look at FDIC starting to get into its first discussion when it comes to putting out an RFI, which is a request for information from industry on 5/17. These all are coming around to starting to lay out some framework on the regulatory front. Again, the OCC reviewing prior bank actions that were called out in October, which if you recall some of that video, one of those videos that I put out back in October of last year when we started seeing the bull market start to come into fruition in crypto, I put out a thing saying that I think a lot of this bull action was around the OCC's decision to start putting some banking guidance out there, because then you start looking at the mom and pops and the smaller banking community bank locations being able to start updating their charters. It's actually a big thing. That means that if anybody that's tried to do anything with crypto in this space, and you say the word crypto in certain banks and they'll close your account, right? There's still a lot of uncertainty with what goes on with regulation. So this is anybody that's in the United States that has been trying to get bank accounts understands this fully, especially if you're trying to start a business in it. It's not so much affecting the personal relationship right now you have with your bank if you're just buying crypto on an exchange such as T0 Crypto or Coinbase or Kraken or any of those, just personal to exchanges. It's not impacting you as much. However, if you have a business and it's related into crypto, banks are just not wanting to do business with that because they feel that they don't have enough guidance. And that's right where this OCC kind of thing comes in. And then you have the Senate Bank Chairman warning the OCC on a clampdown on trusted bank charters, which was what the OCC was allowing those bank charters to be updated on 5/19. You had Treasury Secretary Yellen announcing IRS compliance push, which really comes down to the frameworks that are going to get put up. So it really needs to be a smoother process with reporting. Right now, it's effectively a flag on IRS. Did you do anything with cryptocurrencies? Which then adds you into this whole other thing where you have to have a profit loss statement, a P&L statement back on your crypto exchanges and kind of show the bottom line. And then that should line up with what your exchanges are reporting on behalf of you. So there's still some uncertainty on the guidance, especially when you start talking about foreign exchanges, or if you've done some DeFi stuff, like how you go about reporting that. Again, IRS right now is going to come out from a compliancy standpoint. There needs to be more like guidance on how to do this, and they're going to start pushing for that. So I think a lot of these aspects when it comes to the government, at least in the US, for US citizens, providing some structures where you look at a lot of these large institutional investment firms are based in, they are looking at this crackdown and looking at, okay, maybe we take some dollars off the table when it comes to some of these cryptocurrencies, and you see a large pullback. You mix that with some of the Elon stuff prior week when it comes to the hit with Doge and some of Bitcoin's pullback. But a lot of these alt currencies and these other currencies that have been hit, I think, have a lot to do with the 1-2 punch from large influencers, followed up with the Fed making some just a week of here's some stuff that's going to come down from a regulation standpoint that pushes institutional investors out of it. They start capitalizing on some of the gains there, and then we're obviously seeing some of that effect. Then you have the follow-up when China, with regards to the pushback on certain provinces having to shut down their activity, including and possibly some of the mining activity. Now, looking at the mining charts, this is one of the things where you have, is it FUD? Is it just a position that they are? The cool thing about cryptocurrency, especially proof of work mining, is that if miners are turned off, we will see it on the network. We saw it when China had a large outage in one of its provinces. We saw almost a 30% mining hash rate drop on Bitcoin, and that was very clear and present. And it didn't take, a statistician or a rocket engineer to figure out that, hey, a large portion of Bitcoin network went offline. If we start seeing this natural transition of these miners moving, offshore, out of mainland China and being stood up somewhere else, I look at this a few different ways. I got contacts out in different spaces for this. As you guys saw the start of this video, we had the Miners Summit sponsored content. I'm going to be out there at the Miners Summit, and some of the folks that are going to be there are going to be very attuned into this particular situation. So I look at that Miners Summit next month as being a key, information gathering session for me to figure out what's going to be available, who's trying to move miners, are those going to be available stateside for folks. It's very interesting time right now where some of these miners might not get to stay with their owners and they're just going to go on the market for sell. And is there going to be a fire sell on some of these miners right now? With Bitcoin being down a little bit, does it allow people to buy into miners a little cheaper? I'm watching this like a hawk right now to find out, because this is not Bitcoin mining. This is mining in general. So this is also GPU mining. It could be FPGAs. It could be specific ASICs for Ethereum mining too, as an example. So this is a very interesting situation right now that I'm going to keep you guys abreast as much as I can on to find out what's going to happen with those miners. But is that a bear statement? What I look at, is that a bear type of movement? No, that's a relocation of hash power. If some of these countries cannot participate in crypto, it may draw down on some of the volume and some of the money spent, some of the degen activity when it comes to DeFi maybe. But you look at that transition as people are forced to not be able to do this, and maybe people are going to start to relocate. One thing I want to do is what I did on the last video and leading up to the last weekend update is I was kind of shouting out a network that I've been researching and trying to understand more about. Before, in the prior 2 weeks, it was the Matic network, which is now Polygon. I kind of gave you guys a heads up on that when it was about 65 cents, 68 cents, somewhere around there. And the video came out showing Z.Run and how the layer 2 was finally starting to get its first few big projects out there. And since that video, several other networks, and including Mark Cuban just shouting it out yesterday about moving over to Polygon on the layer 2 side for Ethereum. We're seeing a lot of progress on there. The Polygon went all the way up to almost $3. If you guys were able to get in on that play early, that was a good win for you. Congratulations. This was not financial advice. It's just networks that I'm following from a tech stack standpoint that happen to be worth money. I'm going to follow back up that one with another one for you guys that I've been doing some research on. This comes around the NFT platform There's several NFT platforms getting set up. We've had OpenSea and Rarible, a few of the big ones that you see on Ethereum. But one of the new ones right now that's really starting to make some headway is Origin. And we'll link that one up right now. Origin right now did a pretty heavy price pullback to about 60, or actually went all the way down to like 48 cents just yesterday. And now since has pulled up to about 65 cents with a high of around $3.20. This Origin network is well staffed from an architecture and developer standpoint. We're talking the head folks from YouTube and a lot of the engineers that were early days of YouTube. It has huge VC funding. This is a team that I technically would not bet against from getting things done. They know how to do things in an industry like this. And with them kind of, it looks like they were pitching and changing gears, as it were, from like a big, larger marketplace to now more focused on NFTs. But hey, you go with what's working, what's hot right now. Yesterday, it looked like Charlie bit my finger on YouTube, the infamous video that really kicked off YouTube's viral nature. Just got sold for almost $800,000, and it was done on the Origin platform, OGN on Ethereum. The OGN network itself, the Origin network with ticker OGN, is off of Ethereum. So as Ethereum is a platform of many things, this is one of those things that it allows other networks and tokens to kind of launch pad off of Ethereum. So OGN is off that. Now, I know your first question, and it's most people's questions, is why a lot of these networks need a token to function. And it's the basic understanding to understand how the DeFi marketplace in general works on something like Ethereum. And the various point is that if you have a development team that's going to build some functionality, a feature set, be that a marketplace that's going to provide a stack of different abilities and functions, listing items, having timers, having all of the actual functionality that you'd make as an application, the underpinnings of what starts to tie all those smart contracts together is a native exchange of tokens. So for you to garner its services, it's using that native token. So that's the incentive structure that's built under for the team that's building it. So a lot of these teams use Ethereum as its base platform, and then they'll raise a token cell, right? And then that gives them their base funding, but also they're going to exchange their services for that token. It becomes the utility side of the functionality when it comes to the smart contract. So you can trade services back and forth using Ethereum as your base layer, possibly move into a layer 2 to reduce fees, but that base token like OGN is going to be the fuel that runs those services for that service. The same as that if you're doing API calls or you want some kind of Oracle data sets, not Oracle the company, Oracle meaning resolution of a system of record from somewhere else outside of a blockchain, you'd use something like Chainlink. A lot of these different tokens are the underpinnings that allow that utility to function. It's what provides the incentive for the development teams and the base funding. And it's also what's the translation on the back end of expected return when it comes to you're going to use this service, it's going to cost you X of a token, right? So this is the base functionality. This will be a deep dive that we'll go into a later video to show you mechanically on how that functions, all the way from base layer Ethereum through a layer 2 is something like Polygon, which uses the Matic token, into an application set, which would be like the NFT marketplace for Origin as an example. So those three show you the tokenomics between those and then how the functionality gets there. And it incentivizes the team. It also provides the utility for you to use the product or service. That's your freebie for the day. And hopefully this was a quick and good one. Again, Miner Summit, June 15th and 16th. I'm going to be out there. Some of the headliners that we put in the first video I might be changing. So why I said, Riot, blockchain, and a few other ones in that video, there might be some changes with those I'm getting the wind on. And it looks like MicroStrategy and a few other ones are going to be out there, but we haven't edited that first promo video. So like, subscribe, share, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.